In this podcast episode, Val Robbins sits down with Dr. Rachel Goldman, a clinical psychologist and professor at NYU specializing in emotional eating, stress, obesity, and body image. They discuss the impact of diet culture and societal pressures on how people view their bodies and food, the mind-body connection, emotional eating, disordered eating, and approaches to healthier relationships with food and body. The conversation also explores practical tools such as breathwork, mindful eating, and the role of GLP-1 medications in addressing obesity without shame, while emphasizing body positivity and self-compassion. Dr. Goldman opens by explaining how pervasive messages from diet culture and society encourage thinness, discourage hunger, and impose strict food rules. These messages are internalized, leading many to equate self-worth with body shape, size, and eating behaviors. This problematic mindset affects everyone, including men, who often struggle silently with body image and food-related issues. Such upbringing creates a common but complicated, often uncomfortable relationship with food and the body throughout life. They then discuss the essential role of the mind-body connection in eating habits and overall health. Factors such as sleep quality, mood, stress levels, and movement are deeply intertwined with one's dietary choices and physical well-being. For example, poor sleep can skew food choices towards less nourishing options and increase vulnerability to stress-driven eating. Similarly, stressful thoughts impact emotions, which in turn affect behaviors, often triggering unhealthy eating cycles. Emotional eating, prevalent and misunderstood, is clarified as eating in response to any emotion, not just sadness or stress, but boredom, happiness, anger, and more. It is distinct from physiological hunger, which signals the body's need for nourishment. Emotional eating serves as a way to soothe feelings temporarily rather than satisfy real hunger, and often involves impulsive, mindless consumption of comfort foods. Recognizing the difference and becoming aware of one's emotions behind the urge to eat is key to managing this behavior. Dr. Goldman and Val demonstrate a simple breathing exercise called diaphragmatic or belly breathing, emphasizing the power of pausing before reacting to emotional triggers. Taking deep breaths and repeating affirmations like, "I am in control," can ground a person, reducing stress and impulsivity around eating. Pausing creates a crucial moment where individuals can choose a conscious response over automatic, emotion-driven eating. The breathwork is presented as an always accessible coping tool that people can practice anytime. They discuss common emotional eating scenarios, such as mindless snacking while watching TV, often rooted in initial emotional needs like loneliness or stress. Over time, these behaviors become habits disconnected from current feelings, causing distress or guilt when one loses control. Dr. Goldman highlights that the behavior itself isn't problematic. Rather, it is the negative thoughts and self-judgment following it that perpetuate unhealthy cycles. The conversation clarifies differences between the two types of hunger. Physiological hunger develops gradually and is not urgent, while emotional hunger is immediate and impulsive, often craving specific comfort foods. Physiological hunger leads to eating whatever food is available without much deliberation, whereas emotional hunger drives cravings for particular foods, typically high in fat, sugar, and salt. Learning to identify these cues helps individuals respond appropriately. Stress triggers the body's fight or flight response, releasing cortisol, which can temporarily suppress appetite or later increase hunger and cravings. This response varies between individuals. Stress may cause some to forget to eat, while others experience overwhelming hunger afterward, frequently leading to emotional overeating. Managing stress, therefore, is integral to regulating eating patterns and maintaining overall health. Dr. Goldman encourages assembling a personalized coping toolbox for stress and emotional eating moments. Beyond breathwork, options may include taking a walk, engaging in relaxation techniques, or distracting oneself with activities unrelated to food. Having multiple tools is vital since not all are feasible in every situation. Importantly, the goal is to break automatic food-seeking patterns by consciously pausing and choosing mindful actions. The distinction between emotional eating, disordered eating, and eating disorders is outlined. Disordered eating includes a range of unhealthy behaviors and thoughts around food, like grazing, restrictive patterns, or rigid rules, but lacks the diagnostic criteria of eating disorders such as anorexia or bulimia. Disordered patterns are common and often overlooked, but can significantly impact daily functioning and mental health. Key warning signs for disordered eating include obsessively thinking about food, body shape, or size, adhering to inflexible food rules, and experiencing distress that disrupts daily life. Common destructive thoughts involve labeling foods as good or bad and all-or-nothing thinking, which fuels guilt and shame. Dr. Goldman stresses that these mental patterns, not the food itself, drive negative relationships with eating and body image. They delve into orthorexia, an obsession with eating healthy that becomes rigid and causes distress. Promoted by social media and wellness trends, orthorexia involves overly restrictive or judgmental attitudes toward food, which may impair social functioning and well-being. The crucial difference between healthy conscientious eating and orthorexia lies in mindset and enjoyment versus anxiety, rigidity, and isolation. An especially practical tool discussed is mindful eating. Dr. Goldman recommends slowing down by chewing food thoroughly until it's almost liquid and savoring each bite to enhance satisfaction and decrease overeating. The Raisin exercise is cited as a classic technique, teaching one to fully experience the texture, taste, and sensation of a single piece of food, helping break mindless eating habits and deepen awareness. The cyclical pattern of restricting food intake and then binging is addressed. Restriction often leads to intense hunger and loss of control, resulting in binge eating episodes, which subsequently trigger guilt and further restriction. Breaking this cycle requires eating regularly and compassionately, resisting urges to skip meals, and responding non-judgmentally to setbacks. Skipping meals, particularly breakfast, is highlighted as a common trigger for later overeating and emotional eating. Breakfast is framed not merely as nutrition, but as an act of self-care that sets a positive tone for the day. Including protein in morning meals helps maintain satiety and focus, supporting better regulation of hunger, mood, and energy throughout the day. Dr. Goldman discusses GLP-1 medications, approved treatments for diabetes and obesity, clarifying they're not weight loss drugs, but medical therapies addressing chronic diseases. She emphasizes that one can practice body positivity and pursue health interventions simultaneously without shame. These medications help reduce food noise, obsessive thoughts about food, and curb cravings, but don't replace the need for mindset and behavior changes. Guidance is offered on supporting family or friends exhibiting signs of disordered eating or weight struggles. Approaching conversations with curiosity, non-judgment, and I statements fosters openness and trust. Timing and setting matter, with calm, private environments preferred. Validating feelings and providing resources rather than unsolicited advice helps ensure effective support. Lastly, Dr. Goldman offers a hopeful message to individuals struggling with body image and food relationships. She encourages self-compassion, assuring that rebuilding trust with one's body is possible through gradual small changes or tweaks. The foundational step is developing awareness and pausing to disrupt reactive patterns. Emphasizing self-worth and kindness paves the way for sustainable improvements and better mental and physical health.